Hey, what's up? Andrew Kramer here for VideoCopilot.net, and welcome to another evolution tutorial. Today we're going to be creating a very cool, never-ending, growing, flourish design, sort of. So what we're going to do is create a new composition, and we're going to make it pretty large. We're going to make it like 2500 by 2500, and choose OK. So that's pretty big. We're at 12% here. And then if we go to our gallery, click on flourishes, we can sort of look through these and find what we want to start with. So let's see here. There is a lot to choose from. Tell you what, let's go ahead and start with number 21 here. Kind of grows out of the middle of itself. So we'll go ahead, go to flourishes, take number 21, and we'll just stick it out here. And we'll scale it down a little bit. And the idea is we want to sort of create this endless chain of growing elements. So we'll go ahead and start with this, and then we can go to our gallery again, and we can then just look for some other design. So we'll take number 4, number 5. Basically, you could do whatever you want, but you may want to kind of group certain ones together that look similar. So just we'll take number 4, we'll take number 5, and we'll scale these down. And then what we want to do is sort of stagger them in the timeline. So right now it's 10 seconds long. So our first design kind of grows out. Now right about here, before it's done growing completely, I'm going to sort of attach this design to it. So I'll rotate it, and we just want it to look as if it's sort of connected. And you can get in here and have some detail. You can actually make the designs really look like they're one single design. If I hit M, I can subtract that mask. And so that way it really looks like it's coming off of there. And we want to stagger it. So I want this design to start. So if I move it over, we want to start just as the other design grows there. So it gets there and then it grows. And then this design, when it's done growing, it starts growing out some other elements. So again, we'll take this design. Let's see. It kind of grows out from this middle point, and we'll stick it in here as well. So you just have to kind of be creative and just find a way that it sort of connects. And you want to sort of time it up. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. Who knows? And then I'm just going to kind of randomly pick some designs here. I mean, some of them may not work, but for what we're doing, this should be very, well, one design I don't want to pick. That one either. We basically want elements that look like they're growing outward. And it'd be probably easier to look at our gallery, but I just want to kind of experiment. So scale this one down, and it kind of grows out. And again, you can you can try to make them look like they kind of attach and then stagger them so that they kind of continue on. And then again, we want to stagger this design. So let's see, we'll scale this up. And it grows out. And as it does, our new design grows on. We'll sort of overlap these a bit. And we're running out of space, but I think we have time for maybe one more. Not that one. That one just wants to get in here. Okay, so this one design with our nice leaves. We'll go ahead and scale it down. Kind of find a point that we can grow off of this previous design. Maybe just I don't know, this one's kind of got a lot of stuff, but We'll just stick it in there. And we'll stagger it so that it starts at that point. And then also, our comp is running out of time, so we'll set it to 15 seconds. And then you may want to extend these so you can right-click on them and choose Enable Time Remapping, and then that will allow you to just extend them on. So basically, if we were to watch this all the way through, it grows here, and then that piece attaches, and then another piece attaches, and then, you know, ideally we could just grow this on forever. Let me extend that one down here also. So now what I'm going to do is create a composition. So I'm going to choose new comp, and we're going to set it to NTSEDV, and we'll choose OK. And then we'll take comp 5 and drag it out. And it's really large, and we want to go and bring it to the point where our design starts, which is right here. And we'll probably just kind of set it right into the comp, and we'll set it to a 3D layer. And then we'll create a new 3D camera, and then we're going to create a new null object. Now we're going to parent the camera to the null object. And so this is going to allow us to move the camera simply by animating this null object, because the camera is linked to the null. And so it kind of makes it easy to animate without having to have to animate the position and the anchor point of the camera. It gets a little tricky. So what we want to do is set a keyframe for the position of the null. And then we just basically want to follow the design. You know, we want to follow the growth of the animation. And you definitely want to try to keep up with it, because it is going to be kind of fast. So you just kind of watch it, and then, okay, it kind of comes down here to the left, and we'll kind of follow it down this way. And you just want to kind of keep moving it and keep up with the growth. And so if I play this back, just, you know, we've only, you know, been animating for a couple of seconds here, but if I play it back, you see we're kind of following it growing up here. Oh crap, it's turning left. Now we're following it this way. And okay, now it's going upward. And you just, wow, I mean, you just see the amazing quality of these flourishes. And we're sort of just following it, you know, around and around. So these keyframes are not perfect, and we'll work on the animation in a moment, but let's go ahead and finish following our design here. Let's see. And it looks like it just finishes right here. So what you probably want to go do, we're going to set this to half res, and what you may want to do is kind of just go and make sure that the animation, you know, follows itself. And now what we want to do is sort of smooth out the very first keyframe. So I'll hit F9, and the last keyframe will hit F9. So that way it slowly starts to move. And then for the keyframes in the middle, I'll just hold down Control and click, and that turns them all into these little circles, and that should kind of smooth the animation out, and we'll take a look. So that's looking pretty good. Now our null object, I forgot, is not 3D. So if I turn that back into a 3D null object, it will actually be a lot easier to animate because it won't move really high onto the comp. So I forgot to do that, but that is definitely the easier way to animate. So now the animation looks pretty good, and we're following it all the way to the end of the design. Now it's looking pretty good, and what we probably want to do is add like a background. So I'll create a new solid, and Okay. And then I'll go into our textures. We may want to just add a texture for the background rather than just an image. So there's a lot to choose from, but I like number 22. And we can scale it up because we want this thing to be 3D, but we also want it to be in the frame in the beginning. So let's see, we want to rotate it so that it fills the frame and the first frame, and then it stays in the frame, the last frame, so here. So we can actually probably scale it down. And that should work. So I'll move our black solid. We'll put it above the texture just for a moment, and I'll bring the opacity down just so we can sort of see this. And so now it's basically growing on this background, and it looks pretty good, but definitely not perfect. And what we can do is change the transfer mode of our comp 5, which is our growth. Hit F4, and we'll change it to maybe overlay. To start, it's one possible option, kind of a subtle, fungal looking growth or whatever. Add also looks pretty cool, but just make sure you turn the opacity down. But actually, what we may try to do instead is colorize it. So I'm going to choose Effect, let's see, Generate, and Fill, and we'll just give it, I don't know, let's try like red. And then a cool way to go through the transfer modes is to hold down Shift and plus or minus. So if you just hold it down, you can just kind of click through and take a look at what the different transfer modes do. Sometimes you just want to experiment with possibilities. So here's kind of one way that kind of looks cool. Is just this red sort of just kind of grows. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, pretty amazing. We can also probably take the texture layer, and it's 3D, so we can take the position. So we have X, Y, Z, and we can move it back so that it's not on the same plane as the element, so that when the camera moves, we may want to do this a lot so that we can sort of, just to kind of demonstrate it. But when the camera moves, you'll be able to see that it's sort of floating over top it and not quite right on it. So that's another cool way to kind of add depth to this effect. So as you can see, with a little bit of work, you can really create some intricate looking designs and, impress all your friends and old classmates. Anyway, I hope you found this tutorial useful, and, have fun. We'll see you next time.